Good evening, everyone. So we spoke about last week, the last 2 weeks, about Milchemes Malchei Hatzofoim, Malchei Adorim, the kibush basically of Eretz Yisrael from the south and the north. And Met Hashem today we'll try to do Kapitel Yud Beis, in the beginning of Kapitel Yud Gimel, to start to speak about the Oretz Anisheres. The Oretz Anisheres is a very interesting thing. The Oretz Anisheres, what Yehoshua did not capture anything, right? Everything. You can see there is an Oretz Anisheres. What's the din of Oretz Anisheres? What's the Kedusha, the Rambam? That we're going to see in the next few weeks. Just this week, we're going to try to go through Perek Yud Beis. What we can see Perek Yud Beis, there's not much. There's many things to see if we want to figure out each one. There is Yarmus, there's Lochish, there's Gezer, there's Dvir, there's Geder, there's Chomo. There's many 31 Melachim. But we're going to see first the Psuk. Okay. Yehoshua, Kapitel Yud Beis. Ve'ele Malchei Haaretz asher hiku bnei Yisrael vayirshu es artzon be'eva hayad mizocha. So first we start with Ve'ele Malchei Haaretz. We start with the Malchei Moiri, that they were in Ever Hayarden. Right? We start with Ever Hayarden, the eastern side of the Jordan River. And we start already as who took it over? Not Yehoshua. This was already from the times of Moshe Rabbeinu. So we start already now from Moshe Eved Hashem, Bnei Yisrael, and from Pasuk Vaiter we're going to see the Lamed Aleph Melachim of Ever Hayarden and what Yehoshua bin Nun, he was the one to hit these Lamed Aleph Melachim. So Ve'ele Malchei or Tashariku Bnei Yisrael. Now even though it's Bnei Yisrael means that the whole of Bnei Yisrael together. And that's Vayirshu es Altzon be'Ever Hayarden Mizocha. That means Mizocha Hashomish, that means to the east. Minachal Arnoin. This is Nachal Arnoin, what goes through the whole way from Ever Hayarden, and it goes to Yam HaMelach in the middle. In the times of Moshe, Arnoin, as we know, the Psukim and Bamidbar will tell us that what? Gvul Moyav, Bein Moyav, Ubein Moiri. Right? Today it's called, what they call it over here, we can't see it because it's around here somewhere. And that's called Vadi. That's in Arabic, they call it Vadi Mujib. That's what they call today. It's in Ever Hayarden, the eastern side of the Jordan, and that is the Nachal Arnon. This is, if you look the Psukim of there, Pashas Chukas, we all see we know the Psukim over there, what we're talking about. Ad Har Chermoin, where's Ad Har Chermoin? Har Chermoin is up in the north, going up to the north. Again, we're talking about, and right, we know it in the Torah. If we want to get it right, we have to see also the Psukim of the Torah, right? What's stated over there in the Torah? Vanikach boisai eis. We took also at that time eis. Oretz miyat shnei malchei moiri. Asher be'Ever Hayarden. Mi nachal arnoin ad har chermoin. So we see over here the Psukim over here. Just repeat again what we learned already in the Psukim and the Torah. V'chol ad har chermoin. V'chol o harova mizrocho. What's the chol harova mizrocho? Harova mizrocho. This is talking about the valley, what we have in the east of the Yarden, and that's what we're going to go later on in the Psukim, Beis, Gimel, Dalet, explain exactly this one Pasuk, what we spoke, very general Pasuk Aleph. Now the Psukim from Beis, the Pasuk Hey, basically, we going in details to this, what we just described over here in Pasuk Aleph. Pasuk Beis, Sichon. We all know Sichon is Melech HaMoiri, is the first king, what Moshe Rabbeinu, right? Moshe Rabbeinu thought with Sichon Melech Moiri Hayoshev Becheshboin. Hayoshev, who sat, right? Hayoshev, even though it says over here Hayoshev, b'derech klal it's a lashon hoive. Hayoshev, now sitting. But Yoshev, we know that what this is in the past. We find many times in Tanakh this lashon, that this thing, right? As we find over there, Ani Yoisho Hanitzeves Imcho. It was when was it? 2 years later. Right? Kasher Gamolasu, she comes up with Shmuel. Right? We all remember the story of the Chana. So why we say Asher Nitzavod that state? But we said already over there, we spoke about that that's the many times, right? From Amalo Yisonu Meretz Mitzrayim. You see many times in Tanakh what we see, that the Lashon of Haknani Melech Arod Yoishev HaNegev,
rule is that if you have a
Yeah.
hey in front of a verb, that's called a relative hey, it's always in the present tense, irrespective of what the translation
Hayoy, we say it. So there is a hey. Hanitzeves, you're right. Every time is a hey, yes. Yeah, very good, yeah.
Yeah, you couldn't have that. You couldn't have it.
Yeah, you couldn't. Yoshev is not definitely yes. Yeah. Cheshboin. Cheshboin was the capital of Sichon. In the past, we know that this was together with Moav, and just as we know, Ir Sichon, Kiryas Moav, was steht in the Torah, and we know we spoke a big arichas about this in the sugis beforehand of an Amoin hu Moav, Tiahu b'Sichon, because we know lo Yisegura milchama. So they had to take over from Sichon, and then lo Yisegura milchama. This is what's called today Tel Ir Sichon or Kiryas Sichon. So it's Tel Chisban. This is again next to Nachal Cheshbon. There is a Nachal that goes into the Jordan from the eastern side. Moishel Me'ar Oirer. What means Moishel Me'ar Oirer? And he was Me'ar Oirer. He's going back now. What was the capital, as we said, the capital city was Sichon. Goes back and explains what exactly was the Melucha over there, on what he took over. So we find over there, again, Aroirer is about, again, what we know from Divoin, not far from Divoin, and this is on the north of Nachal Arnoin, and this we added to Nachal Arnoin, that's Al Asher Sfachas Nachal Arnoin, what we have over there, different ones that's called Nachal. Now, Nachal is not dafke a Nachal, what we say is that we have over there water, running water. Right, and then we have also, it's very interesting over because we have Asher al Sfas Nachal Arnoin, Vetoicha Nachal. So what is Vetoicha Nachal? So this Meforsh would say that there was two. There was Asher al Sfas Nachal around the river, and then inside the river there was a small island, and that was called Toicha Nachal. So it was two different parts. There was Asher al Nachal Arnoin, and then was Chutz, and there was also Toicha Nachal. So it was two different places what we find over here, Vetoicha Nachal. Now, Besoicha Nachal, we're going to see also later on in Kapitel Yud Gimel, we're also going to see that there is another place what's called Toicha Nachal, and that's Pasuk Tezayin, Vayi Lohem, Kapitel Yud Gimel, Vayi Lohem Agvul Me'ar Asher Asfas Nachal Arnoin, Vayi Asher Besoicha Nachal, V'chol HaMisher Al Meidvo. Again, this is talking about the kibush of Moshe Rabbeinu, what we find in the Torah, and this is, again, we find over there Toicha Nachal, we find also in Shmuel Beis, Vayachanu Ba'oyer, Yemin Oyer Asher Besoicha Nachal. We find many times this Besoicha Nachal. There's a big discussion in the Meforshim. What's the pshat of Besoicha Nachal? Some say it's the same thing. Some say it's two different cities. What we have over here, Asher Banachal in the Nachal itself. So that is what's a Gilod. The Gilod is, as we mentioned many times, the Gilod that we spoke about, Iftoch HaGilodi. Again, one of those Iftoch. Iftoch HaGilodi. Iftoch HaGilodi, where he comes from, Gilod was the mountains of Gilod. The mountains of Gilod. This is a little bit, it's an Ever Ayalde, but a bit more north. So a bit more north. And it's part, yeah, exactly. Big Menashe, Gilod, Menashe, that's right. And a Gilod is this mountains, what you have over there in the north. Yeah, in the north, it's east, the eastern bank. But it's again from the north up to the north till, as we know, Yarmuch in the north until Nachal Cheshbon, that's in the south. Now the Yaboik divided into two. Half of the Gilot from this side and half of the Gilot from the other side. That means we had the Yaboik in between. In the Gilot, we have in the middle, we had the Yaboik. Is right, Mefurish in what we learn in Bereshis, we learn many in Bamidbar, we learn in Dvorim. Yeah, you have the Yaboik. Yaboik, it crosses the Gilot into two. Yeah, the Yaboik goes from east to west, and it crosses the Gilad, what goes from south to up north, and it crosses in between. So that's the Yaboik. And the Yaboik in Chatzi Gilad Mizeh, Chatzi Gilad Mizeh. Now Chatzi Gilad, yeah, no, that's a place in Gilad. Now in the Chatzi Gilad, what we over here refer in the pasuk, the Chatzi Gilad, Lichoire, we refer over here to the upper part. That means the northern part of Gilad, the northern part of Gilad. Well, that, as we said, that's fine, Chatzia Gilad. Because the Chatzia Gilad in the south was belong in the beginning to Moav, right? Ammon and Moav. As we find, if we go back to Iftoch, what Melech Bnei Ammon tells Iftoch? כי לא כך ישראל אס ארצי, בעלו יסוי ממצרים, מארנוין ועד היבויק. So it's mashma the ad yaboik, that means the south, and the ad yaboik, that means till that's the south chelik of the till the Gilad. We said it was the south, and there was the north. So the south belonged to Moav in the beginning, and that's what he's complaining, Melech Moav, and he's telling Iftoch Kilokach Yisrael, right? Me'arno in the other Yaboik. And this is Yaboik, in a way it's not Stam Yaboik, it's Yaboik Hanachal. And this is, some call it today is Azarka. There's even pictures I saw from this Azarka. What is a river in between Nachal Yaboik. But Nachal Arnoin, if you want to get the idea with Nachal Arnoin, in the middle of Yam HaMelach. So again, we don't have over here the eastern side of the Jordan, but if you see over here Berech where it says over here Yarden, so about over there is Nachal Arnoin. Nachal Arnoin, up to Berech where the red point is, that's Berech, again, it's Berech Nachal Yaboik. So we should get just the idea, Nachal Yaboik, and from over here starts the Gilad. Now this belongs to Moav in the beginning. You're not allowed to look at Tzurem Milchoma, you're not allowed to take from them the Milchoma, so Sichon takes over from Yaboik, and we said that's the pshat also in davening. Right? We mentioned this word a few times. What we say in Shabbos morning, right? And we divide it into two. Why we divided the two? We say, right? And then we say, then, just say it in one go. Okay, and Venosan and Atzal Nachma to who? To Sichoin, that's Kilon Chazal, that's a Klalisol, because if not, we couldn't have taken it from Moav. That's part of the Cheshboinu Shel Olam, what the Forshim over there says, Boyum and Chashav Cheshboinu Shel Olam. The Sichoin thinks, oh, I'm very strong. You see, I took over Moav and I took over Ammon. The whole thing is just for Teres, why Klalisol should take it over from you, and that's why you got the Koiches. And that's the Kilon Chazal. So that's what we have over just to get the idea. Is over here is Nachal Arnoin, there's Nachal Yaboik, and this part was what the Melech Ammon is telling Iftoch, Kiboso, to take my Ba'alois in Mitzrayim, Arnoin Ve'ad Yaboik. That's the Yaboik Anachal, what we know. B'nei Gevul B'nei Ammon. That means now we're talking about, let's not forget, we're talking about the times of Moshe Rabbeinu. And that's the Yaboik Anachal. That is what's going, and that's what he says, they took over in the times of Moshe. Pasuk Gimel. We said that this psukim are explaining Pasuk Aleph. And the Pasuk Aleph we said, Ve'arova. Now explains what Arova we spoke about. Right? We said, Vayirshu, Pasuk Aleph, Vayirshu, Sartzam, Be'eva, Yadim, Mizrocha, Hashemesh. And then at the end of the Pasuk we said, Ve'chola Arova Mizrocha. What is the Arova? What we said, Ve'chola Arova in Pasuk Aleph. Now we explain it. The Arova, what we said is, Ad Yam Kinrois. What is Yam Kinrois? Yam Kinrois is Yam Kineres. Yam Kineres. And Lashon of Kinrois, what's the Lashon of Kinrois? What should be Lashon Kineres, not Kinrois. So we added already, if you remember, in Pasuk base, in Kapitel Yud Aleph, V'lamelochim asher mitzvoin ba'or, u'ba'arove negev Kinarois. Over there Rashi says it's talking about Kinarois, over there it's talking about the Ginoisar. So it could be Doim Ginois, so yeah. But again, Negev is Doim, yes, Kinarois. So it could be it's over here the same thing, it's Kinarois, Kinrois, yeah. Okay, V'arova ad Yam Kinrois, Mizrocha, V'ad Yam HaArova, Yam HaMelach. That means Yam HaArova was in the west, Yam HaMelach, that is, okay, we know Yam HaMelach as we see over here. So we go from the Yam Kineres till Yam HaMelach, and that's in the south, Yam HaMelach. And because the Arova is Eiver Hayarden from the west. Mizrocha, what Mizrocha now means? Mizrocha, Mizrocha means to the, this is the, over it means to the northeast of Yam HaMelach. The northeast of Yam HaMelach till the Arnon. Okay, so we said this is the Nachal Arnon, so we're going now this part. We're talking about this part, the Nachal Arnon. And we're saying Mizrocha, Derech Beis HaYeshimois. That means Beis HaYeshimois is a city in Arvei Smoyo, right, next to Machne Yisrael, and some say that this is in the east of Yam HaMelach. And Umiteimon tachas ashdois hapisgo. Umiteimon always means from Dorim Zait, right? So from Dorim to Beis Yeshimois, so Deisha Yeshimois was a city. So over there we learn Miteimon just to tell us where it was Mamlech Sichoin. Tachas means, like we say, Tachas Chelmoin, right? To the near Chelmoin, or underneath Chelmoin. So let's say Ashdois. Ashdois is always, when we talk about Ashdois, is talking about cliffs, stoves, cliffs, a very thing. And that's what it says, Ashdois HaPisgo. Pisgo is the name of the mountain, what's called the Pisgo. And this is again from going down from Hore Yehuda from one side, Hore Moyo from the other side, to Yam HaMelech. Hore Yehuda going to Yam HaMelech, and Hore Moyo to Yam HaMelech. It was very steep, and we had over there stoves, as you said before. And that's the Pasuk Gimel. Pasuk Dalet.
This Kinroy, it's pulled down here from Yerushalmi.
Yeah.
He answered the question, he says,
Rashi says Ginoisa. Yeah.
Yeah, it says, about Yom Kineres.
Yeah.
Say what the Kash is, but much means one. Now, after Shnei Gimis stories, there were two. So there were two, one on one side and the other side, two places called Ginoisa. So maybe that's why it's Kinroy, it's plural.
It's plural, Kinrois, and before it's Kinarois. The same thing? No, before I think so. I'm not sure. I don't know. Negev Kinarois, but it's Kinrois. Yeah, by you. Okay, I see. Where it's Kinarois. It's Kinarois and it's Kinrois.
Kinrois Pashtas is Smichas, isn't it? It should be.
Negev Kinrois. Okay.
Well, that's fine. But that's what I'm saying. So it's two.
So, Kinrois. Okay. The what?
There were many places.
Kinrois. We do find actually in Tanakh sometimes what we find as a Lashon Rabim, like Machanoim. Okay, that's the thing. But Kinrois, it's Machanoim as Chazal Darshanet. Was for example, Chochmois Noshim Bonso Beisa, right? Was Chochmois Chochmas. Moses says Chochmas, right? Chochmois. There's a few places what we find in Tanakh as such a thing of Chochmois instead of Chochmas. So Kinrois is a Lashon Rabim over here. We being is Kinrois. Maybe we call instead to say Yam Kinrois. Yeah. So when we finish Ois, when we finish Ois over here, it means the Chochmas. Pashas we say Chochmas. Chochmas. Yeah, and that's also we say when we bring it down, many in the Gemara they will be Chochmas. Chochmas Noshim Bon Sobeisa. In the Pasuk we say Chochmas. The Mishle, yeah. So let's see the Psukim weiter. Says the Psukim, yeah, Ugvul Oig. Oh, let's talk about Oig Melech HaBosh. Ugvul Oig Melech HaBosh, we're going now up north. Miyesa Refoim HaYoshev be'Ashterois u'be'edrei Oig Melech HaBoshon. So we spoke about it before already. Boshon is in the north to the Yarmuk. We spoke about it many times. Up there. Or Refoim. Who's the Refoim? The Refoim was a tribe that they were very, very tall. They were giants. And they already lived, as we know, Be'artzi Smoya ve'Amoin, as we learned in the Torah. And also many places in Eretz Yisrael, even in the western side of the Yarden, in Eretz Yisrael, we know that they sat as we have Achimai, Sheishai, we have many Bnei Anok. When we spoke also last week about the Bnei Anok, what we do find, right? We have many places, the Refoim, yeah? We have what's called the Refoim. Okay. Now, so Yesa Refoim, HaYoshev, again, HaYoshev. It's not HaYoshev now, again, the thing. Be'Ashterois, Be'edrei. Ashtarois, U'Be'edrei is two different places. It's Be'Ashterois and U'Be'edrei. It's two different places. Ashtarois is, as we know, Ashtarois Karnaim. Right? Ashtarois Karnaim. Some say that is exactly the times of the Refoim and the times of Avram Avinu. There's also mentioned many other sources, historical sources, that this was what we call Tel Ashtera. There's a place Tel Ashtera, and that's about 32 kilometers east to Ein Gev. Ein Gev is up there next to next thing, and next to the Yarmuk. Next to the Yarmuk, so it's not found in the Kinneret, and over there is one of the small waterfalls of the Yarmuk is Engem. Edrei again is Dar'a, what we call today. Again, it also was a very important, as we find from different historical evidence, that it was a very important place. It was like a Polshas Drochim. It was a place where the people would travel. Edrei, and that's the two places what we know over here. Okay.
In the Torah, it doesn't say Astros Edrei, it says Uber Edrei.
There's interesting Rabbi Story Apalchi and Kaftor Perach, what visited there about over 600 years ago, 650 years ago. He said that in Edrei till today there is a Yiddish Yishuv. In that time, look the Rabbi Story Apalchi. So we could figure out what is the exactly thing. Okay, pasuk. Let's see the next pasuk. Umoishel behar Chermoin. Umoishel behar Chermoin. Again, Chermoin, as we said beforehand, where's Chermoin? And that is we're going now to the border of the northwest of Mamleches Oig. Ubesalcho. Salcho is now not the north, the southeast of Mamleches Oig. And that's Salcho. The B'shtoi Apalchi, when he being Salcho, he says this is Salchad. Today, Salchad is in Syria. The Druzim live over there. It's called till today Salchad, and this is on the south sides of Har Boshon. And this is what we can see, that we know what Har Boshon we see many times. But the Torah refers to Har Boshon. The Kaftor Perach, the B'shtoi Apalchi says that over there is sitting over there, and there's mountains over here that they differentiating, basically stopping between the desert and the Mokom Ishuv, and the name did not change, and that's what Rabbi Shlomo Apalchi says. So that's again over 600 years ago, 650 years ago, about when Rabbi Shlomo Apalchi speaks about this. Why? Because Rashi, yeah.
Because it's Astros Be'edrei.
Astros Be'edrei, yeah.
Astros Be'edrei. And Rashi says Pshat Be'edrei, because Rashi's got a problem. Astros was Edrei. So Rashi says Ad Be'edrei Shem HaMalchus.
Yeah, so but we do understand it's two different places. Yeah. And there is Masha, it's two separate places. Ashtarois and Edrei. It's two separate places, yeah.
It's like the Gog and Magog. Is Gog and Magog two places? Or
no, Goig Melech Mogoi.
Yeah.
The Pashtus. No, in Tanakh is before it's Goig Melech Mogoi. I'm sorry, I can't help it. But
it sounds like it's two places. Going and Magog, so Gog and Melech.
So over here in the pasuk definitely it says no, he's asking from Rashi in the pasuk, not from. So again, Eva Yarden. We talk about the time we talk about Eva Yarden. Okay, we talk about Eva Yarden. So let's see the psukim weiter. Umoishel be'archermoin besalcho v'chol haboshon ad gvul hageshuri. What's gvul hageshuri? Gvul hageshuri. So ad gvul hageshuri. In the times of David, this is gvul hageshuri. Was together with Malchus Aram. What's called Geshur Aram. What we spoke many times about Geshur Aram. And again, next to the Boshon in the north. And Ma'achosi. What's a Ma'achosi? Ma'achosi was a shevet from, as we mentioned, from Bnei Nochor. And these two tribes, they sat where? In the south of Chermoin. Yeah. And from the east of the Yam Kinneret, they sat over there. V'chatzi Agilod, Gvul Sichoin Melechesh, V'chatzi Agilod. This is, as we're saying over here, that this Gvul Gilod of the south of Gilod. This is Mamleches Oy, comes to the Chatzi Agilod, before we spoke about the south. Now we spoke about the north part of the Chatzi Agilod, that was Gvul Sichoin Melech Cheshboin. Moshe Eved Hashem, Uvenei Yisrael Hikum. And this is back to Pasuk Aleph. So we had Pasuk Aleph, then the Kitzur, then we had the Psukim now that explain a little bit in details what we learned in Pasuk Aleph. And these are basically everything what we learned already in the Torah. We could speak about more in details where exactly each one, but we could just over story what happened. And Moshe Eved Hashem Uvenei Yisrael Hikum. That's and this is what Klal Yisrael and Moshe Eved Hashem did at that time. Okay. Now we're going to Yehoshua. Ve'ele malchei oretz. Ve'ele malchei oretz asher hiko Yehoshua uvnei Yisrael be'ever Yarden yomo. That means asher hiko Yehoshua uvnei Yisrael. Till now, what we explained about Moshe Rabbeinu. From now, we're explaining what Yehoshua. Yomo, always Yomo means Marav, yeah, to the west, because Kibushei Moshe was Mizrocha. Mizrocha is where the sun comes out. There's Ever Yarden. Now we're going Yomo towards the Yam. That means we're crossing over the Jordan and we're going into Eretz Yisrael. We're talking about what Yehoshua bin Nun, that's Mizrocha, is the Mizrach, Mizrocha HaShemesh, as we always say, and right as we said in Pasuk Aleph, Mizrocha HaShemesh, we called it. And now we're going to the Ma'arav, and that's Yomo, the Yam HaGodel, we're going to. So what do we have in the Yomo? We have over there, says the Pasuk, Mibal God bebikas halevonoin ve'ad or hacholo ka'oy leseiro va'itno Yehoshua l'shivtei Yisrael Yerusho kemachlekusam. Mi Baal God bebikas halevonoin. What's Baal God and bikas halevonoin? So we know Baal God is, as we mentioned beforehand, Baal God is in the north, right? Baal God bebikas halevonoin. And as we saw, two different perushim, what's Baal God and bikas halevonoin. It's quite, let's say, the highest point what you can see over here in the map. The highest point you can see in the map. That's a little bit, a few kilometers after that is Baal God. And then after the Chelmon. And that's in the north. And then we're going down from there till Aracholok. Aracholok is in Moav. Down here. Down here, Mamish in the south. Oila Seira. Aracholok, what's it called the Aracholok? So we said before, and why it's called the Aracholok is not growing over there anything, right? And that's why it's called Seira. Seira, it means from Seir. Like the Chalukah, this is what we finished the last pasuk in Kapitel Yud Aleph. Says the pasuk Ches, Bohor, Ubashveila, Uba'arovo, Uba'asheidois, Uba'midbo, Uba'negev, Achiti, Amori, Va'aknani, Aprize, Achivi, Va'yevusi. Now the psukim over here don't explain us exactly the Lamed Aleph Malchei Knan, right? They just tell us the Bahol, that means he doesn't tell us everything. He gives us very, very general. Bahol. Bahol, what we learned, let's learn Kapitel Tes. We saw the whole. Bashvela also, we saw Shvela, the whole. The mountain Bashvela is next to the sea, right? This is called the Shvela. Ba'arova, the Arova is when we said next to the Yarden. And Uba'ashedos. Ashedos, as we said, these cliffs or slopes were going down from Har Yehuda to Yam HaMelech. Before we spoke about the ones that are going from Har Moav into Yam HaMelech. Now we're going from the west. The ones that are going from Har Yehuda into Yam HaMelech. These are Ashedos Uba'midbo. As we know, Eretz Lo Yizarua. The Midbo, Eretz Lo Yizarua. And this is also we're talking about the Midbo. As we know, Midbar Yehuda, Midbar Beis Oven, Midbar Cheres. There's many Midbaros, what we refer that Klal Yisrael took over. Uba Negev, again, Negev is the south of Eretz Yisrael, the Chiti, and over here we bring all of the Leshonos of the Melochim, what they took over from. Now, the Seder HaMelochim over here is very interesting. What is the Seder? What is the Seder? So I saw many Perushim on this. One Perush I saw, and actually a little bit makes sense, that it goes Lefi the Seder Kibush. There's no Seder Aleph base over here. What's the Seder of the thing? It works kimat. As we can see over here, now we're just gonna read it through. And Lichoire, it makes sense that it was Lefi the Seder. And that's why you bring over here Melech, 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 Melech. Melech Yerichoi, Echod.
After language, how you do on the Gillah.
Livno, it's Livno al Gabi Oriach. We're gonna get to it. We're gonna speak about this. No, but over there, the Yerushalmi says, why you call it Beneshima Achas? Because after they died, Yotzu Nishmosam Beneficho Achas. Which they be Yerushalmi. Over here, I'm not so sure that this is the case. Yeah, so I don't have anything. Okay. Let's see it inside. Melech Yerichoi Echod. Yerichoi again was the first city of, right, when Klal Yisrael came up from the Gilgal. Coming from the Gilgal, they go to Yericho. Yericho is the first city that they are having milchama over there. And right, as we learned already, Asher Mitzad based Eil, that is the second one, right? There's no board down because over there we see that what we being only the chashuvim. Was not that chashuv. Then Melech Yerushalayim, Echod. Melech Yarmus, Echod. Melech Egloin, Echod. Melech Devir, Echod. Melech Chormo, Echod. Melech Ha'ai, Asher Mitzad Beis El, Echod. Lechoire Melech Yericho. And there was Ai. No? Over suddenly we see Melech Ai, right? What's the thing? Melech Yericho, Echod. Melech Ai, Asher Mitzad Beis El, Echod. Now, Melech Ai, Asher Mitzad Beis El, we dafka saying Asher Mitzad Beis El, because there was different cities are called in this city. You remember? Different Beis El is what we mentioned. If you look at Kapitel Zion, Mamish in the beginning of Kapitel Zion, the pasuk says, "Mikedem leBeis El," right? Vayishlach Yehoshua anoshim Yericho ha'ei asher im Beis Oven mikedem leBeis El. That's the different one. That's a different one. So to be mavdi because of this, we say Melech Chedek. So Melech Yericho, Melech Ha'ai asher mitzad Beis El echod. Melech Yerushalayim echod, Melech Hebron echod. Melech Yarmus echod, Melech Lochish echod. Melech Egloin echod, Melech Gezer echod. Melech Devir echod. Melech Geder echod. Melech Chormo. Now we talking about all of this: Yerushalayim, Hebron, Yarmus, Lochish, Egloin, Gezer, and Devir. These are seven big cities that were mentioned in the Milchemes Malchei Adorim. That it was standing in the front of this Milchama Malchei Adorim was Yehoshua ben Nun. That's the Yehoshua ben Nun. Geder, we didn't learn we didn't see in the Psukim of Milchama with Geder. You remember that? Elamai, because it was next to Dvir. So next to Dvir, there was a place what's called Geder, and Lichoire, we find over there that is a Geder. We do find Gedoyra, that Bnei Shimon, when we see later on, that is called Gedoyra. So maybe that is also Geder. Ashtos. Geder is Ashtos. Then Melech Chormo Echod, Melech Arod Echod. Chormo, again, we learned Chormo is actually, we're going to see the details, how exactly they took it. We're going to see in Sefer Shoftim. In Sefer Shoftim, Mamish in the beginning of Sefer Shoftim, Kapitel Aleph and Sefer Shoftim, we speak about over there. Again, that's the Hemshech of Kibush Yehoshua. And over there we talk about Vayelech Yehuda Shimon, Achiv, Vayakus Aknan Yeshiv Tzfas, Vayachrimu Oisa Vayiko Shemoir, Chormo. This is the Chormo what we're speaking about over here. This is the same, this is the Chormo, that Shemoir Chormo. So it could be this is already something that they had already in the past, and it's spoke then in Shoftim that we actually did, we have some things that we did already in the past that we call it, and we bring it down over there.
Chormo is different one of those.
From Moshe Rabbeinu. From Moshe Rabbeinu. Yeah, that's from Lechoyres in the times of in the end of times of Moshe. The end of time of Moshe, right? Vayishma Knani, Melech Od, Yoishev Hanegev, Vayishma Hashem B'Kol Yisrael, Vayitas Knani, Vayachrem Oisom, Vesorem, Vayikro Shem Oir Amokoim, Chormo. So we know already that in the times of Moshe was already this place what's called Chormo.
I think it was going to be before that. It was before also.
Shlach Lecho, yes. So we see that what these three Chormo, Geder, right, is already part of the south. Melech Livno, Echod, Melech Adulam, Echod, Melech Makedo, Echod, Melech Beis El, Echod, Melech Tapuach, Echod, Melech Hefer, Echod, Melech Afek, Echod, Melech Lashoroin, Echod. Afek again, now we're going from Makedo. We remember this in Orei Ashvelo, what we saw over there, Milchemes Adorim, where the 5 Melochim were hiding inside the cave. That was in Makedo. Now, Tapuach also, we didn't find over here any description of a Milchama about Tapuach. We do find after that in Nachlas Ephraim, we find Azat what's called Tapuach, but we don't find a Milchama about this. Also Hefer, we don't find a Milchama, but we know that it's next to Tapuach, and this is Tapuach was in the mountains, as we can see later on. So also here we see that this is on the mountains. This is the Tapuach.
Is it possible to go to put it down on the map and go from one to the other in a sensible way? Does it work?
Yeah, because they went back. We found that they went back also Malchei, in the middle of Milchemes Malchei Adorim, we see that they went back to Gilgal. The Malbi says they wanted to go back to Gilgal. It's not even in Milchemes Malchei Adorim, we saw it's not really a pattern. They went up and down and then back to Yericho, to Hebron. Melech Afek, Melech Lashoroin. Melech Lashoroin. What means Melech Lashoroin? So some say Shoroin. That's in the Shoroin. That is This is they say it's not far from Petach Tikva. This is the thing. Melech Modoin. Now, what's Lashorin? What's the Lamed over here?
Maybe the name of it.
Lashorin, or some say it's Shel Shorin. This is like La, yeah. Le Gilgol. We learned before. Remember that we have also later on we see La Carmel that belong to the Carmel. La Carmel. Le Gilgol thing. Okay. Melech Modoin Echod, Melech Hatzoir Echod. Now we're going up to the north, as you notice. Melech Shimoin Meroin Echod. What's this Shimoin Meroin? This is the Choire, two different cities. No, Shimoin and Meroin, or it's one city. Melech Shimoin and Meroin. Shimoin, we mentioned in Milchemes HaTzofim.
This is Meron.
This is Meron, that's it. Mei Morin. Mei Morin, we mentioned in Milchemes Malchei HaTzofim, we mentioned quite a bit about Meroin, right? Mei Meroin. Or what's about Shimoin? Shimoin is the same thing, or Shimoin is two different things? The Choire, ich weiß nicht.
He says it in the Schade.
Yeah. Mei Morin.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's what he said. So what's Shimoin? So it could be Shimoin or something else. We do find other cities what's called Shimoin. Okay. Umelech Achshov Echod, Melech Ta'anach Echod. Ta'anach is, again, which today is Emek Israel. Melech Megiddo, again, in the same Emek Israel, we have a place what's called Megiddo. We spoke about many times about it. That's right, from Shlomo HaMelech. Yeshio. Shimshon, no, Yeshio we find in Megiddo. He got killed, yeah. We find many. Achov, we find many in Megiddo. Shimshon didn't get it. Yes. Not Shimshon, I mean Dvoiro, yeah. Melech Kedesh Echod, Melech Yokneom, La Carmel. You see La Carmel, it's Shel Carmel, yeah. Melech Doir LeNefas Doir. Nefas, as we said, is the Nefois Doir. What's Nefas Doir? So this is what we said before, and that this is the district of Doir. Doir, as we said, is now far from Haifa today. What? Nefas Doir. This is the thing. We don't. Charosh is Goyim.
No, first started.
Melech Goyim LaGilgol Echod. Melech Tirzo Echod. Kol Melochim Shloishim ve'Echod. All of them are 31 Melochim. We had over here 31 Melochim. Now these 31 Melochim, what we find over here is actually very interesting about these Melochim. So we're gonna have to speak about them. What is this Melochim? Why each one is over Echod? Well, I should say, I think so. We find different Mehalchim. We can try to bring one Mehalach. If we want to be Mechalik, right? All of the Gvulei Haaretz into 31 Melochim, not such a big land. We have a very big map. But if you look at the regular map, you need it's quite a big map. It's not a big land. If you divide it into 31, you see that the Melochim over there, they were ruling over a very small part. I mean, it's not that big. So what's the thing? So the answer is in the Sifri. Let's start with the Sifri. There's many things. Let's start with the Sifri. There's many answers. Let's start with the Sifri and Parshas Eikev. Piske Lamed Zayin. Says the Sifri and Parshas Eikev, V'chi echad u'shloishim melech she'oyu l'she'ova kulom oyu be'eretz Yisrael. There's no space in Eretz Yisrael for all of them. Says the Sifri Elokei derech she'oisim beroimi, like they do in Rome. And that's what the Sifri says, Kederech she'oisim beroimi achshav, they do in Rome now. That what? That melech ve'shilton shelo ikono beroimi oima lo yosisi klum. Kach kol melech ve'shilton shelo ikono paltiroes וחבילויס בארץ ישראל, אוי מה לא יוסיסי כלום. אין הזה שתית echt in the מדרש תנחומה, en Parshas Mishpatim, right? Nachlas Tzvi on the pasuk, Nachlas Tzvi tzimo is goyim, the pasuk in Yirmiyah, Eretz, the תנחומה, Eretz שנסעבו לו מלכי oilom, right? The תנחומה big zeraya, ksiv aoche, melech Yericho yechot, melech Ai yechot, shemitzad be'Yisrael yechot, and says over there the pasuk, ve'ein bein Yericho le'ai elo gimel milin. If you look between Ai and Megiddo, and between Ai and Yericho, this is quite very near. Now, Yericho is a very powerful, let's remember, we see from different historical reliefs and different hieroglyphics that Yericho was a very powerful mamlocha. And how much is it? 3 million. I mean, it's not that big. Elomai, we learn over here, says the Medrash Tanchuma, Kol melech she'yo moilech bechutz la'aretz, אם לא יהיה כהן בארץ ישראל, lo hoyo nikro melech. Basically, in Rome, you wanted to have your part. The same thing also, any king from the Lamed Aleph Melochim needed to have a part of it. So they're very, very strong, powerful kings. And all of them, so maybe the Milchama didn't happen really only over here. They killed, they came to protect, and maybe the king themselves came to protect. And I think so. We see that the Melucha, what these 31 Melochim had, was the Ikar Melucha was that exactly this. Everyone was coin over there, a small embassy in Eretz Yisrael. Yeah, like they have over there, like an embassy inside Eretz Canaan. All of them were very, very powerful Melochim. Just because if not, what's a pshat? 31 Melochim in a very small piece of land is nicht kein große Sach. And as I state, Echet in the Sifri and Pashas v'Zois HaBrocha, what we darshan over there, the Pasuk, Bohem Amim Yenagach Yachtov Afsei Oretz, says over there, Bohem Amim Yenagach. It's talking about Yehoshua. Kol Amim Kibesh Yehoshua. What's Amim Yachtov? All of the Amim. He was Kovesh only 31 Melochim, as if I got in the Sifri. The Sifri Melamed Shekol Kovash Melochim, V'Shiltoini Misoif Ha'olam V'At Soifoi. That's what the Sifri says. Misoif Ha'olam V'At Soifoi. And that is Yachdov Avsei Oretz. That all of the Arotzis, what he took in, was Yachad Avsei Oretz. So that's Pashtus, as we're going to understand. This is the Echod. In the Pshat, in the Pirush Be'er Moshe, he says over here that Mistome, when Klal Yisrael came to capture Eretz Yisrael. So every melech sent his strongest force to fight, because if he's not going to have a chelik in Eretz Yisrael, as we said, Einoi klum, es gar nicht wert, right? Es gar nicht wert. He's worth only because he had a chelik, and that's why we say melech erichoi echod. That means what's echod? Always we know echod hamiyuchod, right? It's a keves or echod. Darsh in the Gemara and Yume. What's a echod? Echod is always echod hamiyuchod. And he says that's why Melech Echod. This means everyone is a meyuched that we wanted the Kama to take over from each and one.